All right, you're watching Decision 2019, and I'm now joined in the studios by Engineer Yabagi Sani, who is the chairman and presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party, ADP. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how was the elections, the presidential elections? You're supposed to have issued a statement, you know,
yes,
on that.
We did.
Okay.
And, I think the election went in a way that most Nigerians were disappointed, you know, because it was a show of state strength. Because unfortunately, the security apparatus, the umpire, that's the INEC, and to a very large extent, even the voters were compromised. The process itself was, you know, on the surface, perfect. But the results, end of the day, were something completely different from what actually transpired at the polling stations, the polling units. And this tells you now, with the benefit of hindsight, why Mr. President refused to sign the electoral law, which would have made it necessary for the results as cast, the votes as cast at the polling units to be transmitted automatically, instantly, to all the various centers where these results should be for collation and announcement. But the process was allowed to be manually operated, you know, predominantly manual, in spite of the fact that we are 21st century economy. I mean, and then for us to now be doing things manually, you know, I mean. So
you think that was a deliberate way to manipulate
exactly,
the process?
Exactly. It was a predetermined, you know, failure, you know, of the process to the advantage of the government of the day.
So would the ADP be going to court? You have congratulated the president.
Yeah,
I mean,
you see, our reason why we congratulate Mr. President is that, you see, Nigeria is bigger than all of us, including the APC government. You're talking about 4 years. What is 4 years in the life of a nation?
So even in the face of what you see as fraud,
yes,
you take it hook, line, and sinker, and it's okay?
No. You see, what has happened is this. You have an umpire, INEC, put in place by the Constitution of the country, and Nigerians participated in this process. The umpire came out and said that this is the results as announced. A winner was declared. And when you look at the conditions precedent to the election itself, it tells you that it is fait accompli. What do I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the judiciary, that would have been the last bastion. You know, people like us would have said, okay, let's go to court. But which court are you going to? You ask yourself. You know, judiciary itself was kind of cowed, you know, by so many things that happened. Everybody, we saw what happened. So which court do you want to go to? This is the question.
You don't have faith in the system anymore.
No, the system itself does not command that respect or that faith that you're talking about.
So you've lost faith.
So we've lost it, but we don't want to lose Nigeria. That's the issue. We don't want to lose Nigeria because for whatever it is, we're talking about only 4 years. 4 years in the life of a nation is not so much. It's not something that you want to squander this huge opportunity that is available to Nigerians. My only message is that, like I said in our congratulatory messages, message that we sent to Mr. President, we said, you see, we have no other country than this country, which is Nigeria. And history will not forgive you for not taking any action, any decision at all. It will forgive you if you take a wrong decision. History can forgive you for taking a wrong decision. We took a decision in the interest of this country so that we can move on. But that is not to say if somebody else has a different opinion and wants to do something different from what we have done. Of course, you know, the costs are there. Maybe the person has his own reasons why he wants to do what he wants to do. You know, we can't stop anybody from going to court. But that is not to say that we are in total support of what happened, because I said it. I said, this is not the best of the elections. This is the election that Nigeria lost and APC won, you know. And we want Nigeria to win. That's why we want to go on. We don't want to stop. We don't want anybody planning something against this country, you know, to succeed. So these are the things that informed our decision to say, let's the process go on. It's 4 years we're talking about. And you will see what will happen in the 4 years.
Engineer Sani, before the 19th of February, when the election was postponed, shifted for a week and the rest, you had seen some of these booby traps, these, you know, inadequacies in the processes. First, you said from the president not signing the amended electoral bill, which would have taken care of the digitization of, you know, the electoral process.
Yes.
Why didn't you protest all this? Why didn't you pull out of the elections, since you don't have faith in the process?
We did protest. We did tell, you know, we in fact, I think, wrote to even the National Assembly, you know, and even the order of election were the first people to reject it, that this order of election is also another plan to rig the election before this election takes place. We cried out, you know. What you have today as government is like army of occupation, believe you me. That's what you have in Nigeria today. Everybody has been cowed, from the National Assembly to judiciary to any organization or institution or person or what have you that can say anything or do anything against the whims and caprices of, you know, who is in charge today. So, which is unfortunate, because this president is the president that not only Nigerians but the entire world has a lot of confidence in terms of ensuring that things are done in a manner that will tell you that it is coming from a person that is most credible in Nigeria, you know, before this time. So it beats one's imagination.
So what went wrong with the kind of confidence and integrity that he exceeded?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What went wrong is that is not also hidden, it's not a secret. Because even the wife of Mr. President came out to tell us that my husband is no longer in charge.
But the wife went along and they voted together in Katsina. The wife campaigned for him.
What I'm telling you is that, you know, you can also look at that against the background of what I've said.
But that's
history.
Yeah.
History, you know, will forgive you for taking a wrong decision. It will not forgive you for not taking a decision at all. And in the interest of this country, we need to move on. We cannot afford to break, you know, or to lose this democracy that we fought for. With our lives, with everything that you can think of. We cannot afford to lose it. So this is why people like Aisha and myself and others, we are doing what we are doing under these, you know, conditions, or under these, what I would call altruistic reasons, that is more in favor of this country. To say, what are we talking about? 4 years, isn't it? Okay, let's go on. Because everybody has seen, you know, what has happened. The international committee, why did you think the international committee also, or the observers, you know, said, okay, you know, you know, congratulations, let's go on? It's because what is ahead is bigger than what is happening today. This is just like a flash in the pan, you know. So, in Nigeria, you see, you have a situation where somebody has already, you know, conquered, let me say so, and have taken over the entire machinery of government in a manner that does not in any way allow free and fair, or, you know, something that will happen that will bring peace. So who are you? How do you confront these people? The question you ask yourself is, okay, how much time are we even talking about? You know, if we're talking about Nigeria as a nation. So I pity President Muhammadu Buhari, because that is not President Buhari. You know, decisions you are seeing coming out of the presidency, the actions coming out of the presidency, believe you me, does not in any way, you know, tally with the person of Mr. President. And we all know that. That's why some of us pity him. That's why even the wife pity the husband. So you know, people know Muhammadu Buhari. They know what he represents. They know what. So my take is that, why should Nigerians? Why should we? Why should you know, the followership? The followership also has its own fault.
Aren't you worried about the graveyard silence of the so-called followership? You talked about that all segments of society, institutions have been cowed.
Yeah.
Aren't you worried about, you know, the path of democracy this would lead us to?
Yeah. Well, you are worried. You are worried, but what do you do? What you do is to ensure that you do not allow the baby and the bathwater to be thrown away. You know, that is what you do. You know, as somebody who is committed to the ideals of the founding fathers of this country, because there's more than what is happening today that we must fight for in this country. It is not worth, believe you me, because we all know, and when we know that also 2023, like you know, the fight for 2023 has already started. You know, all these inconclusive elections, suspended elections they're talking about, it's about 2023. It's not that the elections there didn't take place. The winner, it's not that there are no winners there. But some people are trying to play God. You know, that 2023 we must make it so that, you know, when the time comes, you know, we'll take, but it's going to happen like that. It won't happen like that. So this is why those who want to be philosophical about this, those who can see beyond all these, you know, mundane, all these issues, I mean, the happenings that really cannot, you know, translate to anything. End of the day, you know, I just say, okay, let's watch and see.
Can you watch and see and put in another context or perspective your political philosophization of a better democratic Nigeria in 2023 to the spate of violence all over the country, particularly in Rivers State, that INEC is yet to take a decision? You had a candidate, a governorship candidate.
Yes,
there.
yes. We are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are still there.
To what level?
Yeah, you see, it's an unfortunate situation. It's a dangerous situation. It's a situation that I think all of us as Nigerians, you know, need to come together, you know, and rescue this country. What do I mean? How do we do it? How we do it is that, let's, for once, the followership, because in other countries that I have seen, civilized societies, you don't have to burn down anything, you don't have to kill anybody, you don't have to do, you know, but people can force a change through peaceful and actions that you can take. You know, I'm not calling for anybody to rise up against the government or something like that, but this is democracy.
Yeah, you're talking of civil disobedience here in the face
democracy.
of the,
Democracy.
Yes, in the face of the kind of annihilation that the electorate went through, where even security forces were known to be snatching ballot boxes and holding on to result sheets and killing the people. You're asking them to come out, 59 people dead already in just election.
These security people we are talking about are also Nigerians.
Do they see themselves as such? Do they think?
No, they're also Nigerians.
Yeah. Do they reason the way,
no, in this country, we have highly respected individuals. We have traditional rulers. We have religious leaders. We have past head of states. You know, we have people those are the ones I'm calling on to come together and hold power accountable. They can talk to them. They can sit down and
traditional
discuss.
rulers, wouldn't they be described as partisan that any local government
No,
chairman,
this
the
not,
local government chairman can just sack
not,
them from their throne?
This is not about partisanship now.
Yeah.
We are talking about the fate of this country, the future of this country. You know, what this accident waiting to happen, which they can save the situation. By Mr. President is a human being, you know, they can talk to him.
Are they going to ask him to resign?
Nobody will tell anybody to resign. There's no question of resigning. What I'm saying is that you see you have elections that are going to take place. You know, we don't want to put the whole thing on the boil, the polity on the boil, to the extent that everything will just
a lot of the states where the supplementary elections will be taking place, they're on edge now.
That's the point I'm making. That the leaders of this country, they are statesmen. They are elder statesmen in this country. There are people that can talk to Mr. President, talk to the people around Mr. President. You know, they may not. You know, that's the point I'm making. I'm not talking about people on the street to come out and start money. That's why I said you don't have to destroy things or no. This country is not just like that. You know, when Jonathan was there and the elections, you know, took place, and it was seen at that time that the man has lost, people went to him to talk to him, and the man agreed. He said, yes, you know, the Nigeria is bigger than, you know, my presidency or ambition. So I allowed, you know, the peace to reign, so that let the man who has been declared as the winner, you know, take over. In fact, he congratulated the man, even before the man was declared. So the point I'm making is that these people are still around. We have the peace committee, for God's sake, that we signed an accord. You know.
Some people have questioned, you know, the rationale, you know, the significance of that peace committee. When the instrumentality of states was unleashed on the people prevented from voting. So what's the essence of the peace committee? No, what does the peace committee really do? It's only done at amongst you presidential candidates.
No, but the peace committee, I'm sure, what you may not know, I'm sure they are working.
Nigerians may not know.
Yes, Nigerians may not know. The peace committee is at work. They are working. They are talking to those that they need to talk to, you know, so that some people will come to their senses and know that this country is bigger than all of us. This country is for all of us. And I know that, you know, the peace committee will rise to the occasion, because I know what is happening. They are talking to those that they need to talk to.
You're talking as the peace committee. Well, it's only known at the federal level.
Yes.
It's not at the state, local government, or what levels and the
No, but the elections are decided at the federal level.
Well,
that's what we have seen.
But you have local elections. Are they decided at the federal level
yes.
too? Because I'm coming to
I'm
coming to a point where your candidate in your state, Honorable Temi Tokwe Olatoye, you know, Akashuga, who today, you know, is of blessed
unfortunately,
was killed because
brutally
of
murdered.
A process, you understand, that does not safeguard the electorate.
Exactly.
Temi Tokwe is just like any electorate, apart from being a member of the Federal House of Representatives.
Yes.
But you can imagine the kind of violence, gruesome murder over electoral matters. And I'm saying, where is the peace committee? Where is the assurances? Where is the protection of the security?
We have called on the Inspector General of Police and the DG, DSS, and other relevant agencies to investigate this matter thoroughly, so that the perpetrators, you know, will be brought to book. And you see, one of the reasons why we suspect Akashuga Honorable was murdered in a brutal manner, broad daylight, is because, you know, he won the Central election in the Central District. Few days later, the ballot papers, you know, the real ballot papers, not the one that was brought out as the ballot papers, were scattered all over the place, you know, around Ibadan, in the bush. You know, they sold them. where all the thumbprinting, most of it were for the honorable. You know. So he won the election. So we suspect, because they know that that election cannot stand, so the only thing they need to do, unfortunately, is to kill this man. So it's because he won the central election and they snatched it away, you know. That's why, you know, and they knew that by the time, you know, people start approaching the courts with evidences, they know that, you know, that election cannot stand. So we suspect that's why the man was killed.
So you have a compass to even pinpoint the killer?
No, the killers. I mean, that's why we are calling on the authorities to do the needful.
So in your
more
petition,
so, Mr. President,
did you put some names there of the
no,
people you suspect?
No, we cannot be prejudicial.
No, you have your agents and
yes,
the rest
yes,
there.
yes. You know, in such cases, you can't mention names. You know,
in your petition, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
in
yes.
your petition,
we asked for directions.
Specifically,
yes, that look into this direction and then find out whether our what we believe happened, you know, is actually what happened as security agencies. So we have already you know, asked the security agencies to investigate and then come up with what we believe is necessary. It must be done, because Mr. President promised Nigerians that nobody will be allowed to go scot-free if found, you know, wanting in this during the elections, you know, perpetrating any violence or something like that. So I believe even Mr. President himself, I'm sure, you know, I mean, how can a member of House of Representatives just be murdered like that, as if it's just a common criminal or something like that, you know, killed in a way that you wouldn't think is this country. I mean, well, I'm not saying any life is not worth anything. I
was just going to ask you that.
But
about the other
but the point,
who came out to
exactly,
vote
exactly, like in Rivers and all these things.
You know,
but
people who were voting for the first time in their lives,
exactly, and they
were faced with, you know, horrific situations. How are you going to encourage such people again, say there is 2023 for them to come and vote? Because they don't believe in the system again. They don't believe in you politicians anymore.
No, they will believe in us because we know, we have seen the futility of what they are trying to do. We know this cannot stand the test of time. This is not Nigeria, what you are seeing today. This is not Nigeria. The Nigeria of our dreams will definitely emerge, you know, before that 2023 you are talking about, because you can see the handwriting on the wall already that these desperados are going to liquidate themselves, and the real, you know, Nigeria that is our dream, you know, will emerge. It's already there. That's why you have all these inconclusive elections, because they have seen that there is the whole.
You think the inconclusive elections are politically motivated to cause fiasco, as you said?
Certainly, they are politically, you know, motivated, you know, and this is why I know that, you know, you see, when you have God is at work. I'm telling you, for Nigeria, God is at work, because He knows that we cannot fight this war. So God has taken over already.
I don't want to sound like an atheist, you know.
No.
How about those civilized climes that they don't believe in the kind of God you believe in?
It's not. You see,
the reasonableness of man, does it start with the gods that you talk about?
No. You see, how could we have planned? How could we, as a country, have planned a way whereby PDP, who has been rejected before, would win about 17 states now, and then APC, which is in government, is now battling to take over another about 6 or so states, so that they can add to their own to become 18 or something like that. So what does that tell you? It tells you that 2023, you know, is neither APC or PDP, because they'll just kill themselves.
They just simply mean political, you know, alliances or migration and things like that. It does not. It's political conviction that is going to bring about, you know, the kind of political changes you're talking about.
The political changes I'm talking about, you know, cannot be outside what is happening today. It can be. It can be. These are sworn enemies at each other. You cannot find a situation where APC will say, okay, let me allow PDP to take over
But
governance.
you, the third force, you
Yes.
as a member of the third force, you're
Yes.
not even seizing the opportunity
We are.
to speak to the electorate, because that was one major flaws
Yeah.
observed by loads of the civil society groups.
No, it wasn't.
You are waiting for
It wasn't.
government to use its own machinery
No.
to campaign for you, to sensitize the electorate.
You see, you know what happened? What happened is that the votes did not count. Votes did not count. It wasn't it wasn't the people that went out to vote. Those are not the votes that they are declaring.
So
How
you
can
think
you
you
explain
scored more
situation?
than you scored
certainly.
as the
Certainly,
presidential
certainly,
candidate
certainly.
of ADP, you scored more than what was allotted.
My one
to
vote that was declared, believe me, is worth more than 1 million votes that they are declaring for themselves. It is true, because they wrote it. This one, they wrote the votes for themselves. Look at what happened in what happened.
You mean
in Kaduna.
INEC wrote those votes, those
If
scores?
INEC declared those results, then they wrote them. They are also accomplices. Why should they allow that to happen? How can you have accredited voters of 1.4 and then the total votes is 1.8 million?
Where did
Where
the other
400,000 came
come
from? Where? Ghosts?
So you can see that there are several grounds then for, third force like you to challenge. But you say, philosophically, let us leave it, because 4 years is not a long time.
No.
Do you
When I
correct a political anomaly like that? Just, turn a blind eye.
You don't turn a blind eye. You go.
But that's what you're doing now, and others are doing.
Not others are not doing that. You see, what you do is that you look at bigger picture, of what this country represents, and you look at. You see, there are some wars. I mean, some what do you call it? Battles that you just allow it, to take its own course, because already you know that this is not something that can stand the test of time. It does not. It's not worth your time.
So we're going to start seeing depreciation in policies, in structures, and the rest of this government, because you are saying they didn't deserve the said victory.
Oh, they know it. Not me saying it. They themselves, they know it. They know it. How do you say you are a winner when the votes, that 400,000 almost votes, were not accredited, and then you declare that you are a winner? You can't win under that circumstance. Everybody in this country knows that this is not an election. This one is just something that I believe is just a kind of phase that will soon pass, and it is not worth Nigeria going to fight, in a manner that people are thinking that we should go. No,
nobody's. But
yeah,
I don't think anybody has talked about any level of insurrection or the rest, because Nigerians.
If you can't get justice, what happens? Violence, isn't it? So it will appear that this government is asking for violence for reasons best known to them. Otherwise, you will say, okay, let's allow judiciary to remain, so that people will at least say, okay, if I'm cheated here, I can go to somebody that will listen to me and come up with decisions that will assuage, will give me some confidence that, okay, I have been justice has been served. But this is not the case in this country today. Look at the electoral was compromised. The electoral bill was compromised. Judiciary was compromised. The security agencies were compromised. INEC was compromised. Voters were criminalized, distributing money to them. So you know that this is not, in fact, something that you want to waste your time on, because it can't stand the test of time. That's the point I'm trying to make you understand. That I haven't seen the ground on which this can stand.
Even if, like the opposition parties, presidential PDP, and they are now at the Presidential Elections Tribunal, you still feel that
it's dog eat dog.
You still feel that
what I believe, PDP does not represent the future of this country.
Yes, but today they are the opposition. They are the main opposition.
But it's a case of who outrigged the other.
The other parties are now, like your party, they are being called fringe parties. Are we going to even see merger? Are you people going to talk and say, let us merge?
Look at the elections. Where the so-called PDP won. those are states controlled by their own government, where they have governors. In most places, that's what happened.
They lost Gombe.
Yeah, well, Gombe, even before, was not really PDP. I don't know what happened, but they lost Gombe. They also know that Gombe is not their own.
Yeah, there are states like that they've been changing hands, from opposition to the traditional parties like that. Look at Borno State, for example.
Yes.
It's never been a progress. It's been a conservative party from the days of Waziri Ibrahim.
That's right.
Of GMPP. Then to AMPP, AP, and the rest.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
But
today they are in the progressive camp, APC.
Yeah, they're in the progressive camp, APC, because the governor there is APC. You have a governor that is APC. That's the point I'm making. Where you have state governors who are in a particular party, just like you have local government elections, Anywhere you have the governor, all the elections in that place, local governments, they are all declared as, won by that party. That's what you are seeing in the country today. And that's why I say I don't have sympathy for PDP or APC, because they are in fact feathers of the same bird. So the point is that the real Nigeria I'm talking about, that will emerge,
lies in the hands of the third force, like you.
Action Democratic Party. Yes.
What action have you people started initiating? Because it's still like a tale of Babel. This one's still saying its own and the rest, and that's why Nigerians still say these fringe parties. Well, it will be the desire of Nigerians that really all these parties come together. Because when you see the likes of YPP winning, a senatorial seat in Engr, it's quite encouraging. Your late candidate in your state, like you said.
No, we won another seat. House of Reps.
Oh, fantastic!
Yes, we have House of Assemblies.
You'll find Chore, for example. He won his polling unit. He won his own.
We have two House of Reps.
So that would inspire Nigerians to say, okay, maybe a third force is really in the offing.
Yes, it is. It is in the offing.
So what are the kind of actions that you people are planning?
You see, what we know will happen is that, like I told you, these ones will cancel themselves out, because they are all toxic in the political development of this country. It's a toxic element that you have. PDP is a toxic element. AP is also toxic. They are not what you want to maintain. You don't want to keep those ones at all in the system, because otherwise we'll continue to have the kind of experience we're having today. PDP is not anything different from APC in terms of what we're talking about. That's why I don't have sympathy for any one of them. I believe they are all the same. Let them go to court and then say, this one, I have to rig this one. And then
you don't believe in the judiciary anymore. You feel that the judiciary has been battered to the extent that it can only back, but it can't bite.
It can't bite. This judiciary we have today, everybody knows that.
But if that is the case, then do you still have a democracy?
Well,
or on paper?
Well, I think, like I said, if you look at my philosophical stand, that for this country, we need to move on, because you see, this is not completely the end of this country. This election is about 4 years. I know that in a normal situation, you say 1 day is more than enough to change things, but the situation is not normal. You don't have judiciary, you don't have the security, you don't have the electoral empire to be on your side, you have nothing. So the only thing to do is to engage on a waiting game. Like, you wait. So don't look. That's what you do. That's what.
I thought that politics is gone with late Chief Bola Ige, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
But the look worked, isn't it?
Did it really work?
What happened end of the day? The five leprosy fingers, what happened?
Those ones evaporated.
So, you think this one will stand? What is the difference? Tell me.
You tell Nigerians.
No, I'm saying, tell me the difference between this one and that. Nothing. There's no difference.
That was a military dictatorship then.
And this is what?
This is a democratically
military autocracy.
This is a democratically elected government declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Give me a break. Well, we know what is happening in this country. Still, we are in transition. We know that.
No, tell us otherwise.
We are in transition. We know. The man you have at the helm of affairs is a former military head of state.
Yeah, but he's a renewed and repented Democrat now.
Yes, you can renew and repent and refurbish.
But that's been the branding. A man of integrity.
That's for sure. You know, I still believe that Mr. President, unfortunately, has been hijacked by some cruel, you know, wicked, you know, individuals surrounding him as his advisors or as kitchen cabinet. That's what is happening to this country, and we all know it, and they know it themselves. You know, so the point I'm making is that the true Nigeria, the Nigeria of our dream, believe me, is not worth fighting just because of these 4 years, which we know from the beginning that this is not something, the cookie will crumble. You know, we must understand that this cookie is not, it's going to crumble. Because I have not seen the element that will hold this cookie together.
And how you going to help?
Anything built on justice, injustice, you know, cannot stand the test of time.
Engineer Sani,
the injustice is so apparent, is so obvious, you know, that even they themselves, they know.
The worry of Nigerians is that, like I'll repeat again,
Yes.
the third force
Yes.
is not accelerating the crumbling of the cookies.
No.
The election has come and gone.
It has
You've
come
not
and
even
gone.
you've not even had your first meeting to call it inaugural, to say, gentlemen, this is the action plan and the rest. This is how we want to go. Let's come up with one.
The elections are still on. You know, we still have
Okay.
about 6 or so states going.
to go.
You know,
Yes,
to
you
go.
still
That's
have
why
the-
we can't do what you said now. But we're already preparing. You know, we're already prepared. We know that this is something that is like how do you say it? The storm before the you know, declare.
Okay.
No, so that's what you are having in Nigeria. You know.
All right, that's very good. Great. Engineer Yabagi Sani, the presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party. You're also the chairman. I should have talked about that.
Yes.
Why are you holding those two offices? That's what we used to see in the First Republic.
Yeah. If you remember, you know, anytime you are starting something.
But you're going to relinquish one very soon.
Certainly.
Oh, okay,
certainly,
okay, that's
certainly,
okay. That's
you know,
great.
certainly.
Let me thank
it's just
you.
because we're at that stage of development. That's why, you know.
Okay, you to nurture the party.
Yeah.
I know it's your baby.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks very much, Engineer Sani.
And you know, we are number 3, actually, effectively number 3 party in this country today.
All right.
Even by INEC ranking.
All right. That's great. So, very warm appreciation for
yeah.
coming on the show, Engineer Sani.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I
we
appreciate
look forward to seeing you again and the actions that you're going to be putting forward for a new and better, invigorated Nigeria, like you said.
Yes.
You're still watching Decision 2019. Plenty more still ahead. Don't go away. Stay with us.